Jamie here, 302, June 28th, 2024. Take a look at the markets. S&P all the way up to 5. Well, the spot was up to 550 at the 10, 15 or so hour, and it's been melting ever since. Down to 544 here. The IWM was outperforming up over 1%, and now it's just turned from red to green, from green to red, and we have that long awaited, not long awaited, the yearly rebalance on the small caps after the close. There'll be a lot of well, there'll be a lot of shenanigans. I call it shenanigans, but there's going to be some weird candles on some stocks, especially probably right near the close. Uh, I've seen. I'm trying to think of some examples over the years, but some stocks just they run up a couple bucks, and some of the crazy out of the money puts and calls are up substantial, from a penny up to a dollar. Crazy stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to dabble in any of that, but certainly going to be fun to watch. Well, fun if you're in a position or if the position that you're currently in goes in the right direction. But kind of disappointing here. You look, the PCE data came in mostly in line. You had the spending number a little lower than expected. So now you're gonna have the rumblings. You already have headlines on Market Watch, 30% correction coming. But all this stuff over the weekend. I'm sure there'll be more headlines around the economy is weakening, right? But that's what the Fed's been wanting, right? You want a little bit of slowdown, cut the inflation come down, and then they can start to cut rates. But 543 on the SPY, I'm hoping we hold that into the close. We have an hour left. I think that would bode well into the weekend. Earnings season kicks off, so now we're into the second half of the year. July 12th, it kicks off with the banks. So we have kind of another week of no excitement. Well, I wouldn't say no excitement, but then we get the earnings season. And then the next Fed meeting is it July? Let's see what it is. Right at the end of the July 30th, 31st. So no rate cut coming and pending anything crazy. And then September is going to be probably the biggest Fed meeting we've seen in quite some time because they're probably going to cut rates. All right, so individual names, I'll be really quick because there's not much I did today. Also the IWM is at 202 here. Just wanted to hold that 50-day. 50 days 201.72, so it's getting close. A Chewy, take a look at the reversal. So it sold off today. No reason. They're saying, a headline said Chewy selling off after yesterday's rally, but the stock wasn't up much yesterday. I mean, it hit 39 bucks, but it reversed all that. So I was looking at some more strikes. I'll just sit on my hands for now. July 45s, maybe the CBOE opened more strikes. So now you have 50 and 55s in August. Those look attractive, maybe. So I'm sure there's gonna be hype over the weekend, especially if Roaring Kitty doesn't say anything more. Like I keep saying with Chewy, I think fundamentals warrant at least $35 to $40 without all the other possible headwinds, tailwinds, and catalysts. So that's true. I'll just continue to hold what I have. My January strikes, I only have a couple of those left, and I had lots, but they're, I would say the holding ground, but they're down 37%. The stock is down 7%, but they're still up nearly 1,000% since the start of the week. So, and then you go look at Chewy and you say, the stock, is it barely up this week now? Yes, I mean it's up 6%. So the stock is up 6%, but the January $70 2025 strikes are up over 1,000% since I entered at the start of the week. So you gotta, like, does that really make sense? And it makes sense if there's more coming, right? People are betting on higher. So I think it heads higher. I'm not gonna add anything today. I'll continue to look for opportunities to play Chewy for upside. Still have the August I ended yesterday and those January strikes. Fizz locked some more strikes in today. I only had a couple. I'm just going to hold on to the last couple here. Uh, take a look at it today, despite even with the market gyrations, and not that it's the most volatile name, but it's hanging in there. It hit 52.30 in the early morning. Now it's melting back to the upside. So 55.60, I don't think is out of the question. So I'll be holding those into the weekend. Only a couple of those. I'm not going to add any more strikes on Fizz. Added AMD calls, and if you look at the AMD chart, it's I use I wouldn't say the analogy, but I say one of these days, kind of if anybody watched the Honeymooners, not that I was a big Honeymooner fan, but I always remember Ralph Crandom saying, "One of these days, Alice, one of these days to the moon." AMD's it's been consolidating or churning, and it's not the same as Roku, right? I said Roku was more or less left for dead. Um, but it just seems like it's the stepchild, right? It's you have the Nvidias, the MUs, which MU took it on the chin, and all these other names, and then AMD's kind of just there, right? And it's the forgotten stepchild. At it was 230 back in March. I'm not saying it gets back there, but one of these weeks it's going to run 7 to 10% plus to the upside in a very short period of time. I, I played it for some calls this week. I added some more into next week, and I'll continue to look for opportunities to play AMD to the upside. Um, and then Broadcom. I mean, yes, my hedge trade all the way. Tremendous strength at the open, and I posted the volume. Someone posted on FinTwit yesterday. There was some crazy 0 day to expiration premium added at the end of the day yesterday on puts. I think it was like $50 million in some far out of the money puts. So at first I looked at the action more. I said maybe someone sold the premium, right? Uh, they sold it to open, and then you see it skyrocketed to 1640, 1639. It did hit 1639, and then a reverse course, $40 off the highs. And I was looking at some inexpensive hedge trades, and the puts look pretty inexpensive on risk reward basis. Who knows what happens here in the last half hour? We've seen crazy things before. I'm not. It would take a. I mean, it's only a 3% move to get it down to 1550. But that was kind of the thought process in adding those. You take a look at the candles too on Broadcom. It looks like, especially this week, it's been chop, 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 chop. And let's see, is that going to work? Yeah. I don't know what happened to my candle. So that's kind of why I added those. And then yeah, here end of the day, there might be some crazy stuff on some names. And what are they? The big headline? I guess the small caps is the top 10 companies are going to the small cap index. 34% of the capitalization is going to be from 10 companies. I'll have to read more into it, but there'll be some 350 or so. Stay around with some popcorn because there's definitely gonna be some candles. I wish I had some of my small cap names had some crazy candles back in the day on some of these days. So it's a pure lotto if you're looking to try and trade it, because who knows if it's going to be up or down. So I'm not going to sit there and try and do that unless I see a clear opportunity. I think that's about it. Um, Decent week. Oh, here's Chewy getting some legs again. 2730. I'm sure Roaring Kitty's going to come out with something, and maybe he's going to do another podcast. He's going to do something, another he's going to be on FinTwit or X or something like that. Oh, VKTX. Yeah, VKTX follow through. VKTX hasn't had follow through in like a week, and it's up. It was only up 2% this week because it struggled. It started a week, but I mean, you look at this chart, and I could say it's on blue in the face around it's best in class GLP-1 drug, best in class oral, best in class in regards to adverse effects or lack thereof. It's just great story, but great stories don't matter much. Price matters, and right now the price of the stock, in my opinion, doesn't reflect what it should, but that's the market for you. I think that's it. I still have Square strikes, and I know if you've heard my rants before. I really like Square. I'm PayPal too. This day and age where Visa, MasterCard are uh, tremendous mega cap companies, how people aren't eating their lunch or at least taking a piece of the pie that Visa, MasterCard have enjoyed over the years just kind of boggles my mind. But at some point, Square is going to break out. And look at these doji candles on Square. it's it pretty much it's epitomizes the what you would call a chop. It's just chopping around, meaning the highs it closes right in the middle of the high and the low of the day is when you have a doji candle, which means undecided market. But when you have a bullish bias, that pretty much means churn before the next leg to the upside. So definitely watching that. And Square 6502 is that 200-day moving average. So that's a spot I'll be watching. I think that's about it, folks. Let's have a great afternoon. Hopefully some excitement into the close, and hopefully the SPY holds 543 and we have a good weekend. And don't forget, holiday next weekend. July 4th is on Thursday, so markets, it's a 4-day week. Let's have a great day. Have a great afternoon. Have a great weekend. Rock and roll.